10 reasons why Jujutsu Kaisen is the best new-gen anime. From Naruto to One Piece and to the Dragon Ball franchise, great shonen are a staple of anime and often gain a large fan base due to their universal appeal and long-lasting storylines. In late 2020, anime fans were given a new shonen to sink their teeth into. That's right, it was the greatly anticipated and highly popular anime, Jujutsu Kaisen. This video will give you 10 reasons why Jujutsu Kaisen is the best anime of the new generation. So let's dive in. Number 10. Use of complex and interesting abilities. In lots of shonen anime, the abilities of the characters are relatively easy to understand and have scope for lots of growth, much like chakra in Naruto. But whilst Jujutsu Kaisen might have started out like this, fans soon discovered it was anything but simple. As the story continues, the powers of the characters become more complex, until some techniques are pretty impossible to figure out. But this is what makes the series so great. The powers are unique and keep you interested to see what crazy ability will turn up next. Number 9. Fluid animation. One aspect that can make or break any anime is the quality of its animation. Lazy or uncaring animation shows a lack of interest in the series, which can often lead to the viewer losing interest as well. While some shonen anime might fall into this category, Jujutsu Kaisen has so far avoided this pitfall and has given us fluid animation which works seamlessly with the story and makes the series even more enjoyable to watch. And with MAPPA being the studio behind the animation, it's no wonder the quality is so high. Number 8. Perfect balance of lighthearted and dark themes. Death and darkness in a shonen anime is nothing new. Series such as Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan are full of random and senseless violence. What Jujutsu Kaisen does well, however, is its combination of dark and lighthearted themes throughout the series. By using comedic elements to bring a bit of lightheartedness to the series, fans are left feeling entertained and not overly sad or drained from the amount of violence that they have just watched. It also makes the series more enjoyable as the characters become more relatable and likable. Number 7. Time skips instead of filler. Whilst the idea of a time skip isn't at all new or unique for a shonen series, being able to pull off a time skip expertly while maintaining a story which is easy to understand is still pretty difficult. I mean, even One Piece's time skip is still argued about between the fan base. What Jujutsu Kaisen does well, however, is use not just one big time skip, but instead it constantly jumps forward in time by small amounts, such as a few weeks or a couple of months. This removes the need for slice-of-life filler episodes and allows the anime to focus on the big events, which for fans who just want to see the main story is a great plus. Kind of a problem here. If you guys don't like this video, Senpai won't notice me. Oh, phew. Thanks for clicking like. I'm sure he'll look at me now. Number 6. Looming presence of death. Jujutsu Kaisen is one of those animes that may start off as showing death as an ever-present threat that's used just to keep things tense, but as the series goes on, this is definitely not the case. During the introductory arc, Itadori and his normal school friends do escape some nasty curses pretty much unharmed, but as things progress, death becomes a staple of the series, with main characters, random civilians, and entire crowds of people dying, depending on the situation. It's this carelessness of who dies which keeps us hooked on the series, in the hopes that our favorite characters will live to see another episode. Number 5. Use of horror. Who doesn't love a good bit of horror? Even though Jujutsu Kaisen is an action and adventure shonen series, it manages to blend the perfect amount of horror into the story in the form of curses, the monsters that the Jujutsu sorcerers have to fight. But instead of taking the PG approach, the monsters in Jujutsu Kaisen are grotesque beings, pretty much the stuff that fuels nightmares. All of this comes together to give viewers a bit of a scare and keep them coming back for more. Although if I never run into one of those curses, I won't be complaining. Number 4. Cuts to the chase. Most fans are well aware of all the classic shonen arcs, such as the tournament arc, the rescue arc, the beach arc, or even storming the enemy base arc. All these stereotypical narrative devices are usually seen throughout the series, but are broken up by slice-of-life episodes which pretty much act as a filler. However, Jujutsu Kaisen isn't like that at all. With the main villain being introduced in episode 1, the pace of the show stays quite steady, with big story arcs taking place pretty much one after the other, leaving no room for filler at all. Finally, no ridiculous side arc that no one cares about. Number 3. No plot armor. Plot armor in shonen anime can be seen as something either really cool or something that takes away any real jeopardy from a good fight, as everyone knows that the main character will come away mostly unharmed. So when Yuji Itadori, the main character in Jujutsu Kaisen, discovers early on that he can't save everyone, it really amps up the tension for future fights, as we honestly don't know who might win and who might end up losing their lives. The best thing that not having plot armor allows Jujutsu Kaisen to do is to introduce the theory that whilst Jujutsu sorcerers can't save everyone, they can at least try and make sure that those they care about have good and natural deaths. This makes for some pretty emotional deaths and doesn't shy away from the fact that if you are fighting horrible monsters, it can sometimes be a deadly business. Number 2. Villains aren't relatable. One of the best things about Jujutsu Kaisen is that the villains aren't relatable at all. Unlike villains in other shonen where you can sympathize with their backstory and reasons for their actions, like Sasuke from Naruto Shippuden or Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. What the characters in this show are fighting against are purely evil creatures that will kill people just for the fun of it. For some moments of true and seemingly needless cruelty, it also makes it that much more satisfying when the monsters finally get defeated. Sometimes you just want to see a bad guy get beaten without feeling sorry for them. Number 1. Lots of fight scenes. Finally, the best thing about Jujutsu Kaisen is that there are a lot of fight scenes, and I mean a lot. So many times in shonen anime, the characters start off with little to no abilities, meaning it takes forever until they can finally battle some true badasses. And even then, the build up to a great fight sequence can take ages, until eventually you either lose interest or just aren't satisfied with the fight itself. In Jujutsu Kaisen, you pretty much lose track of where one fight ends and another begins. This is great because shonen anime are all about awesome fights and epic abilities, so to constantly be shown these things without having to wait an entire series of build-up first is quite refreshing, and not something you see in many shonen series nowadays. Well, that's the end of our list. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think of Jujutsu Kaisen in the comments below. Is it the best new gen anime, or is it too overhyped? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all things Anime Dive X.